Hello everyone and welcome to the Pokebattler website. My name is Famous from FLW Videos, and in today's episode we are going to be talking about the top 6 counters versus the Pokemon Latios in Pokemon Go. So this is a little bit of a trick. It is not Dragonite, although Dragonite is going to be in the top 6. In the number 1 position we have Rayquaza. Very excited about that. So for Rayquaza, you are going to want to use Dragon Tail as well as Outrage. And if you're interested in doing another moveset, you are going to get a drop-off in that performance. So just kind of keep that in mind. As far as its ratings are concerned, 5-star in damage, 2-star in bulk, and then a 1-star in the consistency. It's basically the best glass cannon of those Dragon-type Pokemon. And anyways, if we go ahead and move on to the rankings, that will kind of showcase it. You're seeing a little bit higher numbers in power, and then of course potions. It still maintains an overall ranking of 3rd at level 35, so it is a good solid option. It will definitely output the damage. As far as the defenses are concerned, you are going to have to worry about that Dragon Claw. You are going to get some resistances though versus Solar Beam, and then you're going to end up in a neutral situation versus Psychic, so it will of course come down to the moveset. With that Dragon Claw kind of being there, maybe consider using something else. But anyways, for those interested in short manning, it is technically possible to be able to do it with 2 players. It's going to be difficult, but possible. I would recommend at least 3 players to, of course, make it comfortable so that you can knock it out no problem. So in at the number 2 position, we have Dialga. So Dialga was actually number 1 versus Latios. In this case, it still maintains a high performance in at the number 2 position. We've got Dragon Breath and Draco Meteor. So despite having Draco Meteor and not Outrage, this Pokemon is still considered a top performer. And it honestly shows up in the ratings. You've got a 5-star in damage, bulk, and in consistency. And then, of course, you're seeing this that it does kind of show up. The time to win is the only thing that is like the worst thing about it. If it got a better moveset, man, Dialga would be a beast. Mostly due to its typing and it, of course, not being weak to the Dragon typing. And as you can see, I would honestly recommend using Dialga in this case. You've got a neutral situation, you've got resistance versus Psychic, and then double resistance versus Solar Beam. So definitely going to be like the best general option versus both Latios and Latios. In at the 3rd position, we have Palkia. So Palkia is going to be best with Dragon Tail and Draco Meteor, but if you have yourself Dragon Breath, instead, that's not going to be that big of a drop in performance, so I would still say you're good to go. Don't waste yourself a fast TM on that. We've got a 5-star in damage, 5-star on that consistency, and unfortunately a 2-star on the bulk, but hey, it kind of acts like a glass cannon. We all kind of know that. So as far as its power and potions are concerned, that is going to be the lowest ranking at level 35, but it's still fairly solid for this Pokemon. Anyways, as far as defense is concerned, you are going to have to worry about that Dragon Claw, but the rest of the situations are going to be neutral. We're definitely seeing a little bit more of a spread than what we saw versus Latios when I covered that video. Up next, we've got Salamence. So Salamence is going to be the number 1 non-legendary option in this case, so that's kind of cool. But anyways, as far as its performance is concerned, Dragon Tail and Outrage. If you don't have an Outrage, which is a Community Day exclusive move, you can go with Draco Meteor, and you're really not going to see that big of a difference in that case. Of course, it will depend on exactly the breakpoint that ends up occurring, but regardless of that, very similar performance. We've got a 5-star on the damage, a 2-star on the bulk, and then a 3-star on that consistency. Once again, definitely a glass cannon. And that will kind of showcase here with those power and potions being a little bit lower ranked, but still overall as a 6th. Like we said before, look out for those Dragon type moves in that case. If you see that, maybe go with the Dialga if you have it. It is neutral versus Psychic and then has double resistance versus Solar Beam, so that is solid. Definitely one of the best non-legendary options. And in this case, we actually have Garchomp in at the 5th position, but the 2nd best non-legendary. As far as the moveset is concerned, you do want to go with Dragon Tail and Outrage. We're seeing good performance in damage and consistency. The only thing to worry about is, of course, the bulk in this case. But as far as its actual rankings are concerned at level 35, a little bit more standardized than what we were seeing out of Salamence. It has an overall ranking of 5th in that case. Once again, seeing very similar resistances. You are going to have to look out for that Dragon Claw. That's just something that's going to end up happening versus these Dragon Pokemon. Then finally, we've got Dragonite in at the 6th position. So for Dragonite, you want to go with Dragon Tail and Draco Meteor. But similarly, you also have Dragon Tail and Outrage. I personally would recommend going with Outrage. Draco Meteor is a Community Day exclusive move. If you got it, use it. If not, definitely go with Outrage. You're going to see a very similar performance. And also a new move update. You can also use Dragon Tail and Dragon Claw, and that is a very similar performance. Just go ahead and check this out. A lot of alternative movesets that can be used, so depending on what you have, maybe Dragonite makes a lot of sense because you won't have to use any TMs and, of course, a lot of flexibility. 5-star on the damage, 4-star on the consistency, and a 3-star on the bulk, so definitely liking that. Once again, we're seeing very standard numbers, an overall ranking of 4th at level 35, so that is something to consider. You are going to have that situation where Dragon Claw is going to be super effective, but Psychic is going to be neutral, and then finally Solar Beam is going to have double resistance, so I would honestly consider Dragonite the best kind of budget option along with Salamence in this case. But anyways, if you are interested in alternative options, go ahead and head over to the Pokebattler page. Try some out if you are interested in trying out just a unique variety of counters versus Latios.